Srimad Bhagavatam session. Let us begin with prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 3, entitled Krishna is the source of all incarnations, Text 38. सवेदधातुः पदवीं परस्य दुरन्तवीर्यस्य रथाङ्गपाणेः यो मायया सन्ततयानुवृत्त्या भजेत तत्पादसरोजगन्धम्. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Vishwaguru Abhay Charanaраvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Srila Suta Goswami continued, only those who render unreserved, uninterrupted, favorable service unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who carries the wheel of the chariot in his hand, can know the Creator of the universe in his full glory, power, and transcendence. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Only the pure devotees can know the transcendental name, form, and activities of Lord Krishna due to their being completely freed from the reactions of fruitive work and mental speculation. The pure devotees have nothing to derive as personal profit from their unalloyed service to the Lord. They render incessant service to the Lord spontaneously, without any reservation. Everyone within the creation of the Lord is rendering service to the Lord indirectly or directly. No one is an exception to this law of the Lord. Those who are rendering service indirectly, being forced by the illusory agent of the Lord, are rendering service unto him unfavorably. But those who are rendering service unto him directly, under the direction of his beloved agent, are rendering service unto him favorably. Such favorable servitors are devotees of the Lord, and by the grace of the Lord, they can enter into the mysterious region of transcendence by the mercy of the Lord. But the mental speculators remain in darkness all the time. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord Himself guides the pure devotees towards the path of realization due to their constant engagement in the loving service of the Lord, in spontaneous affection. That is the secret of entering into the kingdom of God. Fruitive activities and speculation are no qualifications for entering. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. So we have been reading from the past several weeks. We have been discussing about this chapter, the third chapter of the first canto of Bhagavatam, which is talking about the different incarnations of the Supreme Lord and their superhuman activities. Now, we have already discussed about the 22 incarnations of the Lord as described in this chapter. Now, as concluding remarks in this chapter, Srila Suta Goswami is speaking about the importance of rendering devotional service to Krishna. When we understand the superhuman activities of the various incarnations of the Lord, one point that comes again and again is the Lord comes to this material world in various forms for the sake of his devotees. The Lord is called Bhakta Vatsala. He is very, very attracted towards the selfless service rendered by his pure devotees. And that is why he comes time and again to this material world as various incarnations to glorify the position of pure devotees and to glorify the position of pure devotional service. So, in this today's shloka that we just now read, very interesting point is mentioned here. Who can understand the absolute truth? All of us, we are seeking after truth in this material world. Scientists are seeking truth in their own way. Philosophers seek truth in their own way. Common man seeks truth in different ways. But what is that pure method, surest method, which will help us to understand the highest truth, the absolute truth? That is what is discussed in this today's shloka. And this verse is also very poetic and very beautiful to hear, very melodious to hear. Savedadhatu padavim parasya durantaviryasya rathangapane. Rathangapani. This is one of the names of Lord Krishna. Ratha Anga Pani. Pani means hands. Ratha means chariot. Anga means part of that chariot. Rathanga, part of the chariot. We all know the famous pastime, famous Leela of Lord Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. When Bhishma Deva took a pledge that tomorrow either I will kill all the Pandavas, especially Arjuna, or I will force Krishna to break his promise that he won't use any weapon on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So Bhishma, being a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord, made this promise in front of Duryodhana. And the next day, Bhishma Deva was fighting very, very valiantly. He was attacking Arjuna with so many arrows. But Arjuna, since he had a soft corner towards Bhishma, being his, dear grandfather, so Arjuna was not properly fighting. He was not properly countering the arrows of Bhishma Deva. And at that time, Lord Krishna displays his transcendental anger. He says, "Oh Arjuna, even though I have explained to you that your duty is to fight, still you are displaying soft corner against Bhishma Deva, who is siding the Adharma party. So you are not going to kill Bhishma Deva. So I will break my promise and I will kill Bhishma Deva." So saying like this, Krishna gets down from the chariot and there will be a broken chariot. Krishna plucks a wheel from that broken chariot and in great anger with that Rathanga, that broken wheel in his hands, Krishna rushes towards Bhishma Deva to attack him. And when Bhishma Deva sees this, he keeps his bow and arrow down and he raises both his arms and he surrenders to Lord Krishna. He says, "What a great fortune for me. The Supreme Lord personally is going to kill me. This is going to ensure liberation to me." So Bhishma Deva, being a pure devotee, he surrendered to the Lord. And meanwhile, Arjuna got down from his chariot and he felt, "Oh, because of me, Krishna had to break his promise. Krishna had promised that he will not use any weapon on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. But because I was not properly following the instructions of the Lord, I was not properly fighting against Bhishma Deva, Now, Krishna himself has broken his promise and he is fighting. He has taken a chariot wheel as a weapon and he is attacking Bhishma. So, I must stop Krishna. So, like this, Arjuna gets down from the chariot hurriedly and he rushes towards Krishna from behind and he catches hold of the legs of Krishna, stopping him from further going towards Bhishma Deva. This is a very beautiful scene, a beautiful Leela of Lord Krishna. Because of this Leela, Lord Krishna is known as Rathangapani, the one who held the chariot wheel in his hands and he rushed towards Bhishma. Here you see how the Lord is so affectionate towards his devotees. Both the parties, Bhishma Deva and Arjuna, both of them are his pure devotees. And Krishna wanted to keep up the honor of the words, the oath taken by Bhishma Deva. At the same time, Krishna wanted to protect his dear devotee Arjuna. So both were his devotees. So Krishna broke his own promise to keep up the promise of his dear devotee Bhishma Deva and to save the life of Arjuna. This is why the Lord is called Bhakta Vatsala. He is so very affectionate towards his devotees. He is ready to break his own promise, but he doesn't want his devotees' promise to go in vain. This is the position of a pure devotee of the Lord. How the Lord always is so affectionate towards his pure devotees. This incident highlights this. So that is why in this shloka, Suta Goswami is remembering that particular Leela of Lord Krishna and he is referring to Krishna as Rathangapani. So, Saveda Dhatuhu, Saha, he alone, Veda, can know, Dhatuhu, the creator. Saveda Dhatuhu, Padavim Parasya. Padavim means the glories of the Lord. Parasya, the transcendental position of the Lord. Durantaviryasya, Durantavirya means of the greatly powerful Lord. The Lord is called Durantavirya because nobody can overpower him. He is the supremely powerful personality. Therefore, he is Durantaviryasya Rathangapane. So, the Lord who bears his hand, in his hand, the wheel of a chariot. So, Suta Goswami is saying in the first two lines, only that person can know the supreme absolute truth, the creator of this entire material existence, who is actually situated in a transcendental position, Padavim Parasya, and who is actually Duranta Viryasya, who is the greatest among all the powerful personalities, and who is called Rathangapani. Who can know? Now, that is explained in the next two lines. Yo amayaya santataya anuvritya bhajeta. Bhajeta. Bhajeta means to serve, to render service. The word bhaja means to serve. It is the root word for bhakti. That's why Srila Prabhupada always translates the word bhakti as devotional service, not simply devotion. Many times people think, oh, devotion is a kind of emotion which is there, which should be there in the heart. Why should I display it? No, when you love somebody, don't you display your love towards that person? Do you keep your feelings only in your heart? No. In the same way, bhakti is not simply an emotion which has to be kept in the heart. Bhakti means it is an active service. So, bhaja means to serve, and this is the root word for the word bhakti. Therefore, Prabhupada translates wherever the word bhakti comes in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, in other scriptures, Prabhupada translates it as devotional service. So, Suta Goswami is telling, only that person can understand the true glories of the Supreme Lord who engages in devotional service of the Supreme Lord. So, what should be the Characteristics of such devotional service. How should we render this devotional service if the Lord has to reveal Himself to us? What should be the qualities of our devotional service? That is mentioned here. Amayaya, the first quality is called Amayaya. Amayaya means without reservation. Without reservation. What do you mean by this? Reservation means, you know, thinking that, oh, I have my own plans. I want to do a particular thing according to my own desire. That is reservation. I'm reserved. I have my own plans. Without reservation means whatever pleases the Lord, I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to give up my own ideology if it is pleasing to the Lord. We see this in the Bhagavad Gita. Initially, Arjuna said, I will not fight this war. And he had his own reasons, his own justifications. But after he heard the grander purpose of the war from Lord Krishna himself, then Arjuna changed his ideology and he said, I shall fight. Karishye vachanam tava. Because you are telling, I will fight, O Krishna. So this is called without reservation, keeping aside our so-called ideas and so-called opinions. So the first quality of devotional service which will attract the Lord is amayaya, without reservation. And secondly, santataya. Santataya, Prabhupada translates as without any gap, constantly. Oh, today I'm in a very good mood. Today I will chant Hare Krishna mantra. I will do nice bhakti, seva. Tomorrow I'm not feeling so good. In the office, boss was very heavy on me because I did not complete the task. So I'm feeling very low. So today, because boss is very heavy on me and he scolded me, so today I will not be rendering any devotional service to Krishna. I will not be chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. No, not this kind of devotional service. This kind of devotional service will not attract the Lord's attention. Lord will be attracted to us when we render santataya, when we render devotional service constantly, without any gap. And what is the third quality of devotional service that is described here, which will attract the Lord? Anuvritya. Anuvritya means favorably. What is pleasing to the Lord in that way? Anuvritya. So if you study Bhagavatam, Krishna book in the very beginning, you will see Kamsa was also Krishna conscious. Kamsa was always thinking about Krishna because he had heard the prophecy that the eighth child of Devaki shall be the cause of his death. And from that time onwards, out of fear of his death, he knew that Vishnu is going to come and kill him. So he was constantly thinking about Lord Vishnu. While eating, while walking, while sitting, while sleeping, constantly he was thinking about Krishna. But still we don't call Kamsa as a devotee. We cannot call it as bhakti. Why? Because he was not thinking about Krishna favorably. He was thinking about Krishna unfavorably. And he demonstrated his unfavorable thoughts towards Krishna by sending so many demons to Vrindavan to kill Krishna. So we cannot call this as, since he was Krishna conscious, he was thinking about Krishna, therefore he is a devotee. Kamsa? No, he's not a devotee because his thinking about Krishna is not anuvritya. It is not favorable. It is unfavorable. So here Suta Goswami is giving us this 3-point formula. How should be our devotional service? It should be amayaya, without any reservation. It should be santataya, it should be constant, without any gap. And it should be anuvritya, it should be favorably towards the Lord. It should be favorable towards the Lord, not unfavorable. Bhajeta. Bhajeta means to render service. So our devotional service should have these 3 qualities. When we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we should check for ourselves. Am I chanting Hare Krishna mantra with these three qualities? Is my chanting does it have these three qualities? Amayaya, without reservation. I'm not attached to my own ideas. I'm ready to accept what Krishna is saying. That is Amayaya. Then Santataya, constantly I will chant Hare Krishna mantra, whether my mind is, whether my mood is great or my mood is upset, whatever it may be, constantly, always, every day, I shall chant. That is Santataya. And Anuvritya, favorably, to render service to the Lord. Chanting the holy names of the Lord is a seva to the Nama Prabhu, who is non different from the Lord. The Lord and his holy name are non different. So, in this way, we must render service to the Lord. Bhajeta. Then what will happen? Then what will happen? So, here, then Saveda Dhatuhu Padavim Parasya. Then we will be able to understand the true glories of the Lord. We will be able to enter into a personal relationship with the Lord, which is actually the purpose of human life. Bhajeta Tatpada Saroja Gandham. Gandham means the fragrance. Saroja Gandham, fragrance of the lotus feet of the Lord. Tatpada. So a devotee should be attached to the fragrance of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. What does it mean? A devotee should be attached to the Lord's service. That is the meaning. We have to surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord. Bhagavatam describes the lotus feet of the Lord to be a boat which can actually take us to the other side of material existence. If you want to cross over an ocean, you must have a very sophisticated boat or a ship or a submarine or something which will help you to cross the ocean. On your own, even you may be an expert swimmer, but you cannot cross across an ocean because the ocean is too deep and it is too large, and there are many dangers in the ocean. So you need to have a proper ship that will not sink, that will take you to the other side of the ocean of material existence. So material existence itself is compared to an ocean. So if you want to cross this ocean of material existence successfully and reach the other side, become free from the cycle of birth and death, then we must accept this boat called the lotus feet of Krishna. So when we accept this boat called the lotus feet of Krishna, what will happen? Very nicely, the Bhagavatam 10th canto describes, as soon as a devotee holds on to the lotus feet of Krishna with great faith and with service, then what will happen? The entire ocean of material existence will get reduced to a small puddle of water contained within the hoof prints of a calf. It's a very nice analogy given. The ocean, which is such a large water body, the material existence, will get reduced to a small quantity of water which is contained within the hoof print of a calf. You don't need any boat or ship to cross a small puddle of water contained within the hoof print of a calf. You can easily jump over it. That means the process of devotional service, Krishna consciousness, is so effective that as soon as we become attached to the lotus feet of Krishna and we chant his holy names and render service to him according to his instructions in the Bhagavad Gita, then very easily, joyfully, we will be able to cross over the ocean of material existence without any difficulty. That is the meaning. So therefore, a devotee should become very, very attached to the process of devotional service. Meditating on the lotus feet of Krishna and chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, there is no difference between both of these activities. So Srila Prabhupada has again and again mentioned in different places that to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra sincerely and attentively hear each and every word of the mantra is same as serving the lotus feet of the Lord, meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord. So therefore, here Suta Goswami is telling only those who render unreserved, uninterrupted, and favorable service unto the lotus feet of Krishna, who carries the wheel of a chariot in his hand, can know the creator of the universe in his full glory, power, and transcendence. So, if we want to understand Krishna, there is only one process, that is the process of bhakti. Krishna has confirmed this in the Bhagavad Gita also. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha. Krishna says, if you want to know me tattvataha, as I am in my original position, there is only one way to know me, and that is through bhakti. Krishna is not saying through karma you can know me, through dhyana you can know me, through jnana or through sankhya, ashtanga yoga. No, Krishna is not saying any of these things. Even though Krishna talks about all these different kinds of yogas in the Bhagavad Gita, but Krishna's final verdict is if you want to know me as I am, then it is possible only through bhakti. So, this is a statement made by Lord Krishna himself. Even in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there are a series of chapters called Uddhava Gita. Before Lord Krishna wound up his leelas in this material world and went back to Vaikuntha, before that, he spoke a few things to his dear friend and devotee Uddhava, and that is called as Uddhava Gita. Even in Uddhava Gita, Lord Krishna tells, oh my dear Uddhava, the way a person can know me through pure devotional service, one cannot know me through any other processes of yoga, jnana, tapasya, or any other things. It is only through bhakti that a person can know me completely as I am. So therefore, the Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita, both of them are stressing the importance of rendering devotional service to the Lord. Now, if we want to render devotional service to the Lord, the first step is to become connected to a pure devotee of the Lord. Because only a pure devotee of the Lord can give us Krishna Bhakti. Only by His mercy we can get Krishna Bhakti. On our own, we may keep on speculating about Krishna. We may keep on trying to study or keep on so many things we may do by our own mental speculation, but we will never be able to understand the real process of bhakti. So, a pure devotee of the Lord who is cent percent engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord, such a pure devotee, when he shows his causeless mercy upon us, then we can begin the process of devotional service to the Lord. So, therefore, Rupa Goswami, one of the principal disciples of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who appeared about 500 years ago, Rupa Goswami says the first stage, first step in bhakti is Adav Guru Ashrayaha. Adav means the first step is Guru Ashraya. We have to take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. And who is a bona fide spiritual master? The bona fide spiritual master is one who actually is cent percent engaged in devotional service to Krishna. A bona fide spiritual master will never tell, I am God. Or he will not tell, come, I will make you God. No. He will say, I am a servant of God, and if you come to me, I will train you how to become a servant of God. This is the qualification of a pure devotee spiritual master. So therefore, we have to accept the spiritual master's instructions very, very seriously and try to execute those instructions. And when the pure devotee spiritual master is pleased with us, then Krishna will be pleased. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasadaha. Yasya aprasadan nagati kutopi. So this is the meaning, this is the point. When the spiritual master is pleased with us, then Krishna is pleased, Bhagavan is pleased. If the spiritual master is displeased with us, nagati kutopi, there is no other way. That is the whole point. So we are very fortunate that we have come in touch with such a pure devotee spiritual master, the Acharya, who is coming in the bona fide parampara, His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. So Prabhupada, when he was physically present in this world, he traveled all over the world on the order of his guru, and he spread the Krishna consciousness process all over the world. Practically, he transplanted the entire Vedic culture in the Western world. There were so many people in the Western world, they were not even aware about who is Krishna, what is bhakti, and how to render service to the Lord. But the pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada, by his causeless mercy, by his association, by his training, by his instructions, by his empowered knowledge, he actually transformed millions and millions of souls into devotees of Krishna. Now, even after his physical departure, Prabhupada said, I shall live in my books. Anybody who is reading my book sincerely, such a person can have the same effect. It is not true that physically the Guru must be present, only then one can actually connect with him. No. The Vedic scriptures say Vapu. Vapu means the physical form of the spiritual master. Vani means the instructions of the spiritual master. Vapu is temporary, but Vani is eternal. The scriptures say Vani Seva is more important than Vapu Seva. Following the instructions of the spiritual master is more important than physically contacting him. So Prabhupada said that I shall live in my books and you can utilize. So if we have to understand who is Krishna, Prabhupada has already mentioned in his books, and this is very authoritatively explained by Srila Prabhupada. So we should only take some time every day and study these transcendental literatures, and we can become conversant with the theory of Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada has not only given us the theory of Krishna consciousness, but he has also given us the association of devotees. So when we meet the devotees of the Lord who are disciples of Srila Prabhupada, who are representatives of Srila Prabhupada, and we engage in devotional service under the guidance and in the association of such representatives of Srila Prabhupada, we also get to know the practice of Krishna consciousness. So in this way, the theory and practice of Krishna consciousness is available for us by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. And if we are really wanting to make our human life successful, then we must take advantage of Srila Prabhupada's books and the association of Srila Prabhupada through his temples, through his devotees who are sincerely trying to serve his mission. Otherwise, Kali Yuga is a very, very hopeless age. 360 degrees, you turn your head anywhere, you will only see the influence of Maya. You will only see more and more opportunities to forget about Krishna. But even in this Kali Yuga, Srila Prabhupada is so merciful. By Krishna's grace, we have this opportunity, the Hare Krishna movement, and we must take the maximum benefit, advantage of this Krishna consciousness movement. So, another point that Prabhupada is mentioning here is very interesting. Prabhupada says, everyone within the creation of the Lord is rendering service to the Lord, indirectly or directly. No one is an exception to this law of the Lord. Very interesting. Now, Krishna also says this in the Bhagavad Gita. So, in the fourth chapter, Krishna says, everyone follows my path in all respects. So, everybody in this material world and in the spiritual world, everybody, every jiva is actually rendering service to Krishna. Those who are rendering service to Krishna directly, understanding his true position, understanding his glories from the scriptures, from the spiritual master's instructions, then such people are called devotees. But those who don't want to voluntarily accept Krishna consciousness and surrender to Krishna, they are also serving Krishna only, but through the agency of Maya. Maya. So they are rendering service to Krishna unfavorably through Maya. Hmm? Prabhupada gives an example. In a country, there are two kinds of citizens, the law abiding citizens and the law breaking citizens. Now, both of them are under the control of the government. So, the law abiding citizens are set free, they are free, they are freely moving about in the society. They're all governed by the government. Everybody is governed by the government, and government is providing so many facilities and so many other infrastructure. But those who are law breaking, their freedom is curtailed. They are put into the prison house. And the prison house is also maintained by the government only. Finally, whether one is law abiding or law breaking, they both are under the control of the government only. But those who are law abiding, they have freedom. Those who are law breaking, their freedom is curtailed. In the same way, devotees of the Lord are those who are abiding by the orders or instructions of Krishna, and they are given liberation, freedom from the cycle of birth and death, freedom from the four miseries of material existence: birth, death, old age, and disease. So they are transported to the spiritual world where there is no birth, death, old age, and disease. That's called liberation or mukti. But those who are law breaking, those who don't want to surrender to Krishna, Krishna places them under the agency of Maya, who governs this material world. Because we don't want to serve Krishna directly, therefore, Krishna has put us in this material world. And in the material world, we are all under the influence of Maya, and Maya makes us think that we are free. Oh, by scientific advancement, we can conquer birth, death, old age, disease. One day we will be able to conquer. This kind of an illusion we have. And because of this, are we free? No, we are not free. The moment we get this material body, we are bound by the laws of material nature. Every moment, the three modes of material nature are influencing our thinking, feeling, and willing. So, therefore, we create karma, and then we get trapped in the reactions to our own karma. And by this, we are caught up in the cycle of repeated birth and death. So, the soul which is actually entitled for freedom in the spiritual world is getting bound in this material world. So, we are serving Maya currently. And are we happy? No, we are not happy, because we have accepted the body to be permanent, the material body. We think that the pleasures of this material body are real pleasures. Like this, we are bound in illusion. So the whole Krishna consciousness movement is meant for liberating the souls which are bound by the illusion and promoting them to the spiritual world where there is eternal life full of knowledge and bliss, which is actually our constitutional position. So we can be happy only when we go back to our constitutional position. Prabhupada gives another example: fish out of water. The original habitat for the fish is water. But the fish, when it comes out of the water, it struggles and it finally dies. So our position currently is a lot of struggle. There's a lot of struggle every day. Struggle with the mind, struggle with the senses. Not easy. Why this struggle is there? Because we have forgotten our relationship with Krishna. If we turn to Krishna and take up this process of devotional service, understand that we are servants of Krishna, we will be most happy by rendering service to Krishna. That is what Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam is telling. So it is better late than never. Actually, the Bhagavatam says that this training in spiritual life should begin from the age of 5 years. In that way, all of us are very, very late already. But it is better late than never. So we must take up Krishna consciousness very, very seriously. And we must make the best use of this human form of life. And then we can actually enter into the kingdom of God, our real home, our eternal residence. And Srila Prabhupada is saying, what is the secret of entering into the kingdom of God? Prabhupada is mentioning here in the purport, favorable servitors are devotees of the Lord, and by the grace of the Lord, they can enter into the mysterious region of transcendence by the mercy of the Lord. But the mental speculators remain in darkness all the time. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord Himself guides the pure devotees towards the path of realization due to their constant engagement in the loving service of the Lord in spontaneous affection. That is the secret of entering into the kingdom of God. So, if you want to enter into the kingdom of God, we have to render devotional service. And as I said, such devotional service should be constant and it should be without reservation and it should be favorable to Krishna. So this is very important. Then what will happen? Krishna has told in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse number 10, Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. If you always render devotional service to me, I am seated in your heart as Paramatma, and I will give you the intelligence by which you can quickly come back to me. So finally, Krishna has to give us the intelligence. So Krishna will give us the intelligence if we are engaged in constant devotional service to the Lord. So therefore, constantly we must chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Let us go to the next shloka, another very important, very interesting shloka, text number 39. Atheha dhanya bhagavanta itham yadvasudeve khila lokanathe kurvanti sarvatmakam atma bhavam nayatra bhuyah parivarta ugraha. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Srila Sutta Goswami continued, only by making such inquiries in this world can one be successful and perfectly cognizant. For such inquiries invoke transcendental ecstatic love unto the personality of Godhead, who is the proprietor of all the universes, and guarantee cent% immunity from the dreadful repetition of birth and death. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The inquiries of the sages headed by Shaunaka are herewith praised by Sutta Goswami on the merit of their transcendental nature. As already concluded, only the devotees of the Lord can know Him to a considerable extent, and no one else can know Him at all. So the devotees are perfectly cognizant of all spiritual knowledge. The personality of Godhead is the last word in absolute truth. Impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma or Super Soul are included in the knowledge of the personality of Godhead. So, one who knows the personality of Godhead can automatically know all about Him, His multipotencies, and His expansions. So, the devotees are congratulated as being all successful. A cent% devotee of the Lord is immune to the dreadful material miseries of repeated birth and death. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. So, Sutta Goswami is congratulating the sages of Naimisharanya headed by Shaunaka Rishi. We have seen this in the very beginning of the first chapter, first canto of Bhagavatam, where all the sages of Naimisharanya who had assembled there to perform a long term yajna for the benefit of mankind, they all daily uh, put forward questions to Suta Goswami. In fact, the Bhagavatam is the answer to the 6 questions asked by the sages of Naimisharanya that we have discussed in the first chapter. So, uh, one must ask questions which are connected with uh, Lord Krishna. So, since the sages of Naimisharanya have asked such questions, Suta Goswami is very happy to answer these questions and he is congratulating them. He's saying, Atheha Dhanya. Dhanya means successful. Atha, thus, Iha, in this world, Dhanyaha, you're successful. If Bhagavanta Ittam, Bhagavantaha, perfectly cognizant, Ittam, such, Yad Vasudeve Akhila Lokanathe. Vasudeva, Lord Krishna, who appeared as the son of Vasudeva, he is called Vasudeva. And this Vasudeva is Akhila Lokanatha. He is the proprietor of all the universes, the sum total of all the universes, the entire material world. He is the proprietor. Vasudeva Akhila Lokanatha. In the Bhagavad Gita also Lord Krishna says this. After many, many lifetimes, if one comes to this conclusion, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabhaha. So Lord Krishna says, you can become Mahatma, a great soul. You can make your life successful when you come to this conclusion. Which conclusion? Let me surrender to Vasudeva. Why? Because Vasudevam Sarvamiti. He is everything. Vasudeva is the ultimate truth. Coming to this conclusion is not so easy unless we are blessed by Vasudeva himself and his pure devotees. So, Vasudeve Akhila Lokanatha Kurvanti Sarvatmakam Atma Bhavam. Kurvanti means here inspires. Sarvatmakam 100%. Atma Bhavam spiritual ecstasy. Nayatra Bhuyaha Parivarta Ugraha. Very nice expression. Bhagavatam, there is a saying among the Sanskrit scholars. Vidya Bhagavatavadhi, it is said. The Sanskrit scholars say, they agree to this point that a person is said to be properly educated in Vedic knowledge if he has completed studying of Bhagavatam. Vidyam Bhagavatavadhi. Without understanding Bhagavatam, one may have studied all the 4 Vedas, 108 Upanishads, 18 Puranas, Upapuranas, so many things, Itihasas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, all one must, even if one has studied all this, if one has actually not studied Bhagavatam, his spiritual education is incomplete. That is why it is said, Vidya Bhagavatavadhi. If you have studied until Bhagavatam, then you are complete in Vidya. Why? Because Bhagavatam is presenting in a very, very sweet manner, in a poetic manner, the conclusions of all the Vedas and Vedanta. In a very, very nice way, it is presenting. So here it is saying, Suta Goswami is saying, Kurvanti sarvatmakam atma bhavam nayatra bhuya parivarta ugraha. Ugraha here refers to the dreadful material existence. Parivartaha means repetition. Bhuyaha means again. So when one awakens, when one asks questions about Krishna, what is the result of that? Just by asking questions about Krishna, one's life can become successful. Just imagine, not even trying to understand the answers, forget about understanding the answers. If just one makes inquiries about Krishna, only by making such inquiries in this world pertaining to Krishna, can one be successful and perfectly cognizant. Why? Because such inquiries invoke love for Krishna in our heart. And this love for Krishna, when it is awakened in our heart, it will guarantee cent% immunity from the dreadful repetition of birth and death. Ultimately, the goal of life is to go back to the spiritual world because that is our original home. We are here in this material world because of ignorance, because of our forgetfulness of our relationship with Krishna. So, Bhagavatam is teaching us we are all human beings. We all have this ability to ask questions. In fact, our whole day is filled with questions and answers. Since we have this ability to ask questions, why don't you ask questions about Krishna? Anyway, you're asking so many questions. Why don't you spend some time every day asking about Krishna? Athato Brahma Jignasa. This is what the Vedanta Sutra also says in the very beginning. The Vedanta means Anta, end of all Vedic knowledge. The conclusion of all the Vedic knowledge tells us that we have to do Brahma Jignasa. Brahma Jignasa means inquiry into the absolute truth. We are generally making inquiries about the relative truths in this material world. Relative truths. But we have to inquire about the absolute truth, the changeless truth. That is Krishna and our relationship with Krishna. That is the absolute truth. So Bhagavatam is teaching us what kind of questions we should ask because we have the ability to question. So we should ask questions connected with the Lord. Then our life is called dhanya, successful. Bhagavatam is not saying if you are successful, if your life will be successful if you get a 40 by 30 site in Bangalore city and you're able to build your own house. Or Bhagavatam is not saying you'll be successful if you get a very beautiful or a handsome partner. Bhagavatam is not saying your life will be successful if you can get a 5-digit or a 6-digit salary. These are all there, okay, but these are not the uh, real success in human life. Real success in human life is if we can actually develop desire to understand Krishna and we start putting proper questions about Krishna to the right person who are devotees of the Lord, then our life becomes successful. Atheha dhanya bhagavanta itham yad vasudeve khila lokanathe. Why we should ask about Vasudeva? Because he is Lokanatha. Vasudeva or Krishna is not somebody who is disconnected from us, who has got nothing to do with us. No. Krishna is our supreme proprietor. All the living entities in both the material and spiritual worlds are actually belonging to Krishna. Many times we take pleasure in saying that I am the proprietor of such and such a property. I am the possessor of such and such gadgets. But we forget that all these, whatever we possess, and including ourselves, we are all the property of the Supreme Lord. In the very first shloka of the Ishavasya Upanishad, we see this. Ishavasyam idam sarvam yat kinchit jagatyam jagat. Whatever exists in this material world, everything is owned and controlled by the Supreme Lord, Supreme Proprietor. This we have to understand. In the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, shloka number 29, Lord Krishna says this, Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhrudam sarva bhutanam jnatva mam shantim richati. If you want ultimate peace of mind, then three things you have to understand. You have to understand that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, Krishna is the supreme proprietor, and Krishna is our supreme well-wisher. Unless we understand and realize these three facts, we cannot attain real peace in our life. So, Yad Vasudeve Khila Lokanathe. Vasudeva is Akhila Lokanatha. He is my Natha also. He is my master. He is your master. And just that we have forgotten. Therefore, Bhagavatam is teaching us, why don't you ask questions which will help you to understand Vasudeve Akhila Lokanathe. Ask questions about Krishna. And by this, the result is we will be able to awaken our dormant love for Krishna. Dormant love for Krishna. All of us are actually lovers of Krishna, but we have forgotten now. Originally, we are all lovers of Krishna. We have forgotten now. We are trying to love so many other objects in this material world, thinking that they will give us pleasure, but they won't give us pleasure. No one can replace Krishna because we are originally spirit soul and we have an eternal relationship with the supreme spirit soul, Krishna. And as long as we are disconnected from Krishna, nothing of this material world can give us real happiness. So if you want real happiness, we have to again reconnect with Krishna. So Krishna consciousness or Bhakti Yoga is not something which we are trying to newly start or newly do something. No. We are just trying to revive what we have forgotten. Our relationship with Krishna is eternal. We have forgotten that. And now we have to revive. How to revive that? Reviving of Krishna consciousness is possible through the process of Shravanam and Kirtanam. We have to ask questions about Krishna and do Shravanam. We have to hear about Krishna from the bona fide spiritual master. And then we have to do Kirtanam, chant the holy names of Krishna. And just by doing the Shravanam and Kirtanam, we will be able to get out of all illusion. We will become established in our original constitutional position of loving Krishna. And when we attain that stage, then we are successful in this human form of life. Then there is no need of repetition of birth and death. There is no need to come back again in this material world. This is what Krishna says. Yat gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is advertising about his spiritual world, about his original abode. He's saying, I have come from that original abode to this material world to take you back there. See how merciful is Krishna? Even though we have forgotten Krishna, Krishna is so affectionate towards us. He personally comes and speaks the Bhagavad Gita. He displays his Leela so that we get attracted to him. And in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, why don't you come to me? For many lifetimes you have forgotten me. At least now you got this valuable human life. Why don't you utilize this human life to come back to me? Because this understanding is possible only in human life. A cat or a dog cannot understand that he is not the body, he is soul. He cannot understand that I have to go back to the spiritual world. You know, a cat or a dog, its entire life is simply revolving around how to eat, how to sleep, how to mate, how to defend. But human beings, if we are also doing the same old stuff, then what's the difference between us and them? So Krishna is appealing to all of us, come back to my original abode, and that is your real home. Why are you struggling in this material existence? So the whole point is we have to become cent% devotee, cent% Krishna conscious. And in this Kali Yuga, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us this very simple process to become completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness, the easiest way is to chant with all humility, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari. So we should simply keep chanting the holy names of the Lord, and we should render devotional service to the Lord under proper guidance. And by this, our dormant love for Krishna will be awakened, and we can go back to Godhead at the end of this very lifetime. Then our life will become dhanya, it will become truly successful and meaningful. So, thank you so much for patiently listening. Every day we have Srimad Bhagavatam sessions online like this from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. So please do join us. Right now we are in the first canto of Bhagavatam in the very beginning, and there are so many interesting things we can all learn from Bhagavatam and make our life truly spiritual and meaningful. So very happy to notice so many of you have joined us today. Hoping to see you all regularly in our sessions every day. With this, we come to the end of the session. Anyone has any queries or any comments, please feel free to
I have
unmute
one.
yourself.
I have one question, Prabhu.
Yes, Pranam, Hare Krishna. Tell me.
Hare Krishna. This is relating to personality of Godhead, Krishna.
Yeah.
So there is conception called impersonal Brahman. So what I understood is the Brahmajyoti of the Lord.
Yes.
But this localized Paramatma, is it,
Mm.
here I have a doubt, is it that Shiroduka Sai Vishnu, is it
Yes, he
referring
Shiro.
to,
Yes, yes. Shiro the Kashaya Vishnu. He's the
okay,
localized Paramatma. He's the expansion of
okay,
Krishna.
thank you.
Okay.
One more
Good.
question.
Yes.
One more question is last week you talked about Alladini Shakti. This is the Radha Mata. Then
Yes.
one is Sambit and other is Sandhini.
Yes.
So we know that as you discussed, Prabhupada really said that Alladini means the personification that Radharani. What about
Yes.
this other Sambit and Sandhini Shakti of the Lord? Who are,
Yeah.
who are the personification of this?
Okay. So actually, the Lord's energies are all multiple. There are so many energies of the Lord, right? So they're all represented. Some with, these three energies: Ahladini, Shakti, that is the pleasure potency of the Lord, represented by
Hmm.
Srimati Radharani, and then Sandhini and Samvit. Sandhini means the Sat feature of the Lord, Sat feature, and Sandhini, Samvit means the Chit feature of the Lord. In fact, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains 16 different energies of the Lord in the Bhagavatam when he explains. Prabhupada writes about that. So there are multiple energies like this. It is not possible for us to understand everything. But once we complete understanding Bhagavatam, we can start studying Chaitanya Charitamrita. And in those purports, Prabhupada has explained even more advanced knowledge. For example, Prabhupada talks about Shri, Bhu, and Neela. These are the three consorts of the Lord in the spiritual world. So we generally know Sri Devi, Bhu Devi, but there is a third consort also called Neela Devi. So these are all described in the these are all technical details. These are all described in Bhagavatam and most more in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, but Srimati Radharani is the principal energy of Krishna. She is the principal consort of Krishna. So her description is given more in Chaitanya Charitamrita and other scriptures. And just by taking shelter of Srimati Radharani, one can please Krishna, one can become dear to Krishna, one can make progress in spiritual life. As far as Sandhini and Samvit are concerned, there is no such personality that is described because the scriptures tell us only that much which is required for us to uh, practice bhakti and prepare ourselves to go back to Godhead. In fact, there is so much to know, everything we cannot know.
Okay.
So this is
Okay, Prabhu.
this much I can answer to your question. Hare Krishna.
Okay,
Is
thank you.
there any
Very
other
nice.
question? Any other
Hare Krishna,
question or
Prabhu.
comment by anybody? Yes,
Yeah, Hare Krishna,
Ratnadeep.
Prabhu.
When we
Hare
say
Yeah,
the
Krishna.
one
two
question.
peoples,
Oh, there are two people speaking together. One by one we can have. Okay, first we'll
Okay.
hear from Ratnadeep.
Okay. Hare
Yes,
Krishna, Prabhu, you said
Hare
Prabhupada,
Krishna.
he always translated bhakti as devotional service, not as a mere
Mm,
sentiment. But Prabhupada
yeah,
in Bhagavad Gita as it is translates even karma yoga also as devotional service, isn't it?
okay.
So
Mm,
does it mean that karma yoga and bhakti yoga both are same?
okay. So, karma, Prabhupada translates the word yoga in some places as devotional service. Yuktaha also as engaged in devotional service, like that. Prabhupada explains in one of the purports, I think in the sixth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, he talks about the yoga ladder. Yoga ladder is a concept which is also talked about, in the yoga shastras and all that, yoga sutras and all. So yoga ladder means just like in a ladder, there are different steps to reach the top. So the topmost step in the yoga ladder is to enter into a loving relationship with Krishna. That is the goal. Okay, that is a goal. How to enter into a personal loving relationship with the absolute truth. That is the goal of yoga. Now, there are different steps in that yoga ladder. First is called basic karma yoga. Above that is jnana yoga. Above that is dhyana yoga or ashtanga yoga. And above that is bhakti yoga. So, bhakti yoga is called the topmost yoga system because that will enable you to directly enter into a personal relationship with Krishna and engage in loving devotional service to Krishna. Now, the other yogas which are in the lower rungs, they are like precursors or preliminary stages to Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, in that context, when you say Karma Yoga, you know, okay, Karma Yoga means you do your work for the pleasure of Krishna. So, Karma Yoga will also be successful only when there is an element of bhakti in it. Because Karma Yoga means what? Yoga means connection with the Lord. Karma means through your actions. How through your activities you can become connected with Krishna. That is Karma Yoga. Now, Karma Yogi, he will do his actions, but he will sacrifice the results of his actions to Krishna. This is called Karma Yoga. So, in this context, we can say, yes, he is also engaged in devotional service. But actually speaking, there is a big difference between Karma Yogi and a pure devotee of the Lord. Because the difference is Karma Yogi wants to do his own work and he wants to dovetail the results of his work to Krishna. Whereas a devotional, pure devotee, he doesn't want to do so called his own work. He wants to do Krishna's work. What Krishna wants, I will do that. Karma Yogi says, I will make my work as Krishna's work. Pure devotee says, I will make Krishna's work as my work. That's the difference. Both are working. So, am I making sense? Are you able to understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
yes.
Karma Yoga is a basic first because we all want to do some work in this world. So, instead of directly saying you give up your material work and directly engage in Shravanam Kirtanam, which is not possible for everybody, therefore, Krishna is saying, whatever work you're doing, please do, but make the goal of your work as me. By doing this, slowly you will come to a stage where you become more attached to me and you will come to the stage of perfect devotional service. So, Prabhupada's explanation of the entire Bhagavad Gita is actually meant to bring us to the direct process of devotional service. Prabhupada says, right? If you want to go to the 10th floor or 20th floor of a building, you can either go step by step, take a staircase, or you can go to the elevator, escalator, and directly go to the particular floor. So Krishna consciousness is that elevator method. Okay. So therefore, Prabhupada is explaining from Bhakti Yoga perspective, is explaining all other yogas. Therefore, Prabhupada translates the word yoga as devotional service. Because at the end of 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself says, who is Yukta Tamaha? Who is the greatest yogi? Who is the one who is most intimately connected with me in yoga? Yoga, Yuktaha, Yukta Taraha, Yukta Tamaha. 3 degrees of comparison. Yuktaha means connected with Krishna or engaged in with Krishna. Yuktaha, first positive degree. Then Yukta Taraha, more connected with Krishna. Then Yukta Tamaha, most connected with Krishna. And Krishna says, one who is always engaged in my devotional service is Yukta Tamo Mataha. He is most intimately connected with me. So therefore, from that point of view, yoga actually means devotional service only. And the Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, they're all primary steps towards that perfect devotional service. Hope that answers your question. Okay, Ram Ki had a question.
Yes, Prabhu. He had talked about the 3 features of the Lord as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Now, the
Yeah.
Brahman feature, is it when we say the Lord is also present as Brahman feature, now is it the Atma, we as an Atma, we are part and parcel of the Lord, are we referred to as Brahman? Or there is another feature of the Lord which is present as Brahman? So there is a little doubt on this.
Okay. So the word Brahman applies to the individual Jiva also. The word Brahman applies to Prakriti, material nature also. The word Brahman also applies to the Brahma Jyoti, the spiritual effulgence emanating from the spiritual body of the personality of Godhead. In different contexts, the word Brahman refers to different things. So here, when we talk about Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, that Brahman is referring to the spiritual effulgence coming from the body of Krishna. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhu. Very quite clear.
Okay. Any other question? Any other comment anyone has? Okay. So thank you so much for your time. We shall meet again in the next session. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, विश्व गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. हरे कृष्ण.